You've done an amazing thing, Helga. You made me remember who I am.
I can't imagine what you're referring to.
Well, the box that you sent me, my mother's keepsakes.
What about it?
It's worth a great deal to me.
I see. Which item in particular?
Item in particular? You want items? My 11th grade journal, for instance.
Your...
All my sophomoric musings on God and war and what is art. I mean, that was me. That was me. A portrait of Edmund as a young man. You're talking earnest. I'd forgotten about that kid, and you made me remember him.
Is remembering a good thing?
It's important to remember some things. Like who you used to be.
Thank goodness.
You okay?
I'm just so relieved. I thought I'd made a dreadful mistake.
Why?
Well, it's one thing to remember a joyful youth, but to recall a painful past, that's another matter.
The pain was all about Wildwind, not about me. Not really.
I don't understand.
Well, you loved the place. But for me, it was like a prison. I never wrote about this prison. I wrote about all the places I was going to go to out in the big world.
And you did go.
Oh, yes. And when I broke out, I just erased this place from my... I just snatched the money and took off. And I said, oh, that's a good deal. It took me a long time to realize it was a lopsided trade.
Trade? What kind of trade?
Well, you see, I got the money for school. But Wildwind kept a chunk of me. And now, thanks to you, we're even. Dimitri's got his father's money, and I've got the kid back.
That's gratifying to hear.
A long time ago, I lost something. And yesterday, you gave it back to me. I owe you.
I'm glad I could be of help.
He didn't lie on his application?
Let's see.
Right there. Were you ever charged with a felony? See?
Yeah, and he puts in about 9 plugs for rehabilitation, right?
Well, you know, I think that's understandable, don't you think?
I think that's crafty, very crafty.
Well, I don't know. You've been somewhere you've had intense, constant therapy.
Come on, Jefferson State Penitentiary is a prison. It's not a mental institution.
People change, Trevor. Look at his references. The gentleman who was the psychologist in prison, the guy who was his group therapy leader, both of them said that he deserves another chance.
Another chance to kill his wife?
Look, it's 2 mental health professionals saying that he is ready to function in the world. That doesn't count for something?
I think it counts for the fact that Carter Jones is very slick.
And how do you make that leap?
How? It says first-degree assault, right?
Listen, he could have lied. A lot of people would have.
Yeah, and a lot of people get caught, too, Brooke. So, our Mr. Honesty Jones, he quote-unquote comes clean. Where does it mention the fact that he clunked his pretty little bride?
It wasn't a question that we asked him, okay?
And where does it mention the fact that she was 5'5", 110-pound woman? This guy is a disaster waiting to happen, Brooke. I can taste it.
Why would he risk going back to jail again?
He wants revenge. He feels he can pay the price. He thinks he might get away with it.
That's stupid.
Yeah, well, stupid Jonesy ain't. He's a lawyer. I mean, he was a lawyer until he was disbarred on account of clunking his wife.
Yeah. I know his legal background, all right? That's on the resume.
Yeah, but nothing is mentioned about the fact that he lost his license on account of this wife. You were played like a poker hand, Brooke.
Well, what do you want me to do? I mean, I can't fire him. He would, I mean, he could sue Temple Magazine and he would probably win.
Uh-huh. And nobody knows that better than our Mr. Jones, huh? Except maybe, the ex-Mrs. Jones?
I'm glad we had this talk.
Yes, me too. Hi.
It's English.
Helga.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I was frantic. Are you okay?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Well, when you tore out of Wild Wind, I didn't know what to think.
Oh, honey, I didn't mean to scare you. I just left Wild Wind because I got what I needed out of it.
What?
Just another look at the manor house, that's all.
That makes sense, considering that it belongs to you, and all you have to do is say the word.
You know, I just finished this article on the 80s, the nouveau riche. I'm thinking about calling it Revenge on the Nerds. What do you think?
I guess we're not going to talk about Hugo Merrick's will, are we? May I ask you what Helga was doing here?
She just wanted to make sure I got the box.
She already knew that. I told her.
Okay. Well, then she was checking up on me to make sure I didn't have nostalgia overload or something.
Your feelings have suddenly become uppermost in Helga's mind, I see.
She brought by the box. That was pretty decent of her.
She's desperate to make sure that you're not overwhelmed by memories, uh-huh.
Do you doubt her motives?
Don't you? What if she knew the will was in there? What if she's just trying to find out whether you read it or not?
No, not a chance.
Why not?
Because her sole purpose for living is to make sure that Angelique remains the lady of the manor. She'd eat the damn will before she let anybody else have it.
And that was why she was so feverish to find you?
I don't know. She's feverish about everything. What to have for breakfast.
It doesn't make any sense.
You know, things are getting real good for Angelique. She's getting stronger. She's feeling better, you know, and Dimitri's even treating her better. It's taken a long time, Brooke, but things are only starting to go her way.
And you're going to give up your birthright so that Angelique doesn't have to move.
Can we drop this?
Hugo Merrick was your father. And it was inconvenient for him. So instead of facing the consequences, he shunted you off to a mean, hard existence. He owes you, Edmund. The whole family owes you. And Angelique Merrick would be the first one to tell you that.
You like Mahler?
Did you take some sort of vow I don't know about? Poverty? Humility?
Hey, I do okay for a writer.
Don't you think it's time to make up for all those years that you spent in the gardener's hut?
Okay, so I'm a peasant, all right? But I can still get good seats at the Civic Center. How about
Edmund,
tonight?
Please.
Okay, no, I got a confession to make. I'm a Mahler junkie. I love it. So what do you say? Tonight, can you handle it?
Fine. Fine. We'll go to the concert.
Quitting time! We'll just take this down to the copy desk. I'll come right back for you.
Brooke, I just heard you were talking to the police about me.
Yes, somebody did come by from the police department.
You did the right thing.
Excuse me?
I'm glad you answered all their questions. I have nothing to hide. Maybe now they'll understand that.
Well, you know, I just find the whole business a little unsettling.
What happened? They didn't barge in here like stormtroopers, did they?
Oh, no, not at all. No. Actually, the gentleman who interviewed me is a very good friend of mine. I just was troubled by, some of the things that you failed to note in your application.
I was completely open about my prison record.
Well, I wish that you had mentioned that the person that you assaulted was your wife.
I'm sure you know why I didn't go into that.
Why don't you tell me?
I'm deeply ashamed of what I did. And deeply sorry. I had serious problems, and I've dealt with them.
Why did you come to Pine Valley?
I was cooped up in a jail cell for 5 years, cut off from everything. My only link to the outside world was Temple magazine. I read every issue cover to cover.
Is that the only reason you came here?
I came here to work for you. Therapy works. I'm not the same person, Brooke. I'm a different man now.
Oh, doesn't that have a familiar ring? A little hollow, but not without a certain appeal. How's the research on Spoleto?
I thought you didn't need that till tomorrow.
You haven't finished it yet?
I'm working on it.
Doesn't look like work to me. Looks like schmoozing the boss.
Well, you'll have it first thing in the morning.
Not if you don't get to work right now. Hit the stacks, Jones.
Fine. Thank you for taking the time.
Well,
What?
I've never seen you do that before.
Do what?
High hand a subordinate.
You think I was harsh?
No, I didn't say that.
You think I should be gentle with a guy who gets his kicks out of beating up women?
Believe me, I don't like that either. It's just, I think he took a bad situation and made it worse.
Why?
Because he was mad when he left.
I'm shaking in my shoes.
Well, you're not his ex-wife, are you?
Did you ever get tired of psychoanalyzing?
Don't you ever get tired of denial?
Denying? I'm admitting, all right? I was wrong to pop off at Jones, okay? I'm sorry. You're right, I'm wrong. Just don't beat it into the ground.
And why the hair triggers if I didn't know?
Okay, you got me. I'm on edge, and there's a deep-seated reason for it.
Okay,
It's my empty stomach. Now, where do you want to go to eat before the concert?
your place.
Wrong.
And don't I know why?
Oh, come on. Brooke, the specialty of the house is tuna in a can.
Edmund.
And the decor, it's yesterday's news and last week's laundry.
And the will. Let us not forget.
Not with you around, we can't.
I can't even stand the idea of looking at it again. I mean, you flinch when I say the word. You haven't even offered to show it to me.
I will show you anything I've got.
Except the single most important document in your entire life.
I'd be happy to show you my novel as soon as I finish it.
No, Edmund. I am digging my heels in. No dinner, no concert, no nothing. I want to see the will. I want to go to your place. Now.
See the complete Shakespeare? The will's inside. The son and heir of a mongrel bitch.
Edmund,
King Lear. Act 2, I think.
don't
It's appropriate, wasn't it?
Don't do this to yourself, all right?
Did I ever tell you the summer that Angelique and I spent memorizing all the curses in Shakespeare? Every time Alf would give me a hard time, I'd just throw one at him just to drive him up a wall. No wonder he had no use for me. I was just a smug, arrogant little twit.
You had reason.
Yeah. How sharper than a serpent's tooth to have a thankless child. Especially one that's not even yours.
Look, this is all... It's all too much.
Now, listen, I'm okay, okay? I'm fine. Fine, really. I mean, I'm glad I learned the truth, because now I know why my father hated me. It's because he wasn't my father. Poor Alf.
Edmund, just stop.
Just
all
think
right?
about it.
Stop
Just think about it, okay? To be saddled with the master's bastard.
Does this do you any good to torture yourself?
And
like
my
this?
name. Edmund. Who knew that Hugo had a sense of humor? Now everything's clear now, you see. Now I know why Alfred used me as a personal punching bag. Now I know why I had to groom Dimitri's horse. It's just all the answers are now clear. They're all answered.
Not all of them.
No, not the big one. Why didn't my mother tell me who my real father was? Why did she take that dirty little secret to her grave?